Then we're doing some news. San Diego Comic-Con happened this weekend, so that happened. So discuss a little bit of things that happened there. Also, D23 is going to be coming up pretty soon. I think that's coming up. A couple weeks there. D23.
I think it might just be next week or maybe the week after.
Yeah, I think it's yeah. So that's coming up right behind, which it kind of shocks me that they announced that news at Comic Con and didn't save it till D23. That kind of surprised
Yeah, that's surprising, especially because it didn't really have like it's not like DC was making a bunch of announcement at Comic Con for them to compete with. So I wonder why they didn't save that for D23. Maybe they just have that much more that they're ready to talk about.
me. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe they got some more. Chris Evans, he's gonna come out. He's Magneto. He's
Chris
you know,
Evans.
yeah,
Oh
maybe
no.
he's Black Panther. Maybe they got to finally get Chadwick Boseman replacement. He's Black Panther. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe some more big news for D23. Maybe they got some more stuff cooking there that they're gonna show people there.
I did read Charlie Cox, I think, is there to do something for the Daredevil.
Yes, he is. He did say he's going to be there promoting Daredevil Born Again. He is going to be doing that. And they did announce a slate of movies at San Diego Comic Con there. They announced their whole. Let me see. I'll pull up the picture real quick of the movies they announced there for the slate. Since we're already talking about, I guess we're already talking about San Diego Comic Con anyway. There, might as well get into that and get into the and other trailers there, like Creature Commandos. There, they showed the trailer for that. But yeah, of course, the big news everybody's talking about is Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to the MCU. Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Doctor Doom. We did that news dropped while we were recording. That is up on our channel right now, youtube.com. You can check it out. So yes, he is going to be Doctor Doom here. I know you dislike this news strongly.
It's
Um,
got real April Fool's energy to it.
Yeah. And some people were speculating, well, maybe it could work because, maybe he's like a Tony Stark variant that becomes Doctor Doom, and then that could work. But no, they, I think, officially said no, he is going to be Victor Von Doom. So they said that he is going to be Victor Von Doom. And with the thing, so they changed the Avengers movies. Before it was going to be like Avengers Kang Dynasty, but they changed that. They shifted. They pivoted because obviously the situation with Jonathan Majors with his trial, he was found guilty of assault there or something around there, around that territory. So some people say blame him. It's his fault. That Robert Downey Jr. there is is back as Doctor Doom. But yeah, so they're doing Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret War. So Avengers Doomsday will be coming out 2026, and Secret Wars will be 2027 is the tentative plan for right now. So this is the slate of movies they have upcoming. So this is Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, Spider-Man 4, Shang-Chi 2, which I've heard actually nothing about Shang-Chi 2. I didn't know that I've heard nothing about that. But I like the first one. I thought the first one was pretty good. It's one of those cases like when we talked about the Wolverine, where it's like such a strong first half of a movie, and then the third act's like, what the hell happened? And that's why I felt about Shang-Chi, where I was like, hey, this is a
Yeah.
cool martial arts movie. And then all of a sudden they do the bullshit Marvel thing where it's like two armies fight each other, and then he goes to some mystical thing. I was like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, so you have Shang-Chi 2's on the docket. Blade, if that ever comes out, Blade is there. Captain America,
Or Armor Wars.
yeah, Armor War. I've heard back and forth things because I thought they canceled Armor Wars and now it's back on. I guess I don't know.
It
I
was
guess
going to be a show, and then it was going to be a movie. That was one of the first things they announced post Endgame, and it's kind of amazing that there's still really nothing on it.
yeah, and that was kind of wasn't the same situation with like this like Anthony Mackie as Captain America. At first they were like, oh, let's do a movie, but then they did a show, and then now they're gonna go back to doing a movie again. Wasn't that the same situation?
I know it's definitely flipped back and forth at least once or twice.
Yeah. So Captain America: Brave New World, which we do know is coming out because there was a trailer for that out. So that we do know that is coming. Thunderbolts, that is coming as well. Fantastic Four. They showed some early footage there. They showed basically like some like a little bit of a teaser trailer type thing, the stuff they kind of cobbled together. It seems like for San Diego Comic Con, just
Yeah,
like
very early.
yeah, just like them in their costumes as far as like the astronaut suits, and then it seems like they were on like a blue screen background and that, and they showed some concept art. So they said it's gonna be like a retro Art Deco '60s type future, basically like The Incredibles. Like, if you know, like, with The Incredibles, especially Incredibles 2, they had a lot of that kinda there too. So yeah, very much like that, and the movie's gonna be called Fantastic Four: First Steps. Is that related to any comic? Is any comic called Fantastic Four: First Steps?
Not that I'm aware of, but I'm assuming it's more of a reference to the, small, or was it a small step for one man, a great step for mankind, or what? I forget exactly the phrasing of that saying, but very much associated with the original moon landing.
Yeah. So you do have that, and they also show Galactus, so he's not a big purple cloud anymore. He's actually Galactus. He's actually gonna be a person in a suit there
When
in
they
the
made him a
face.
cloud, he wasn't even purple.
Yeah, just a grayish cloud there. You
Yeah.
saw that. So that got shown at San Diego Comic-Con, and then Armor Wars, like we said, it's been going back and forth. At first it was gonna be a show, and then now I guess it's a movie now. Yeah, so and it's starring Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle as Rhodey Rhodes there, a War Machine. So we'll see what that's gonna do, what's gonna happen with that. Yeah, so that's the slate of movies that they've got coming up there. Yeah. Anything that piques your interest there as far as the movies right now?
Well, I'm hopeful for Fantastic Four. I mean, I feel like that franchise has been done dirty so many times. I'd like to see just once that it's represented well. As far as the footage that did leak out, I mean, it's like a phone filming the screen up there. But I think that they're nailing the aesthetic at least. Everything else remains to be seen, but I do think that they at least have the aesthetic down. I wanted them to do kind of a '60s period piece thing for a long time because I feel like it can be easy to have the Fantastic Four come off as too cheesy, if you don't execute it right. But having that period piece element, I think, just makes it a little easier to for those characters to work. So, there's things here that are really working. Um, the Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom thing could be the big wrench that makes that movie not work in my eyes. We'll see. We'll see if I don't even know how much he's supposed to be in that, or if he's just going to be like the post credits teaser for the Avengers movies, or is he's. I don't think we really know if he's supposed to have a substantial role there because Galactus is supposed to be the main villain of that movie. But
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I guess.
And they did announce that the Fantastic Four, they will be in the 2 Avengers movies. So they will be in Doomsday and they
Right.
will be in Secret Wars there. And with obviously Doctor Doom being a big Fantastic Four villain, I didn't hear if he was gonna be in the Fantastic Four movie. I don't think they said that. I don't remember if they said that or not.
No, I don't think they did, but I guess I feel like at the very least he'll be like a post credit scene appearance.
Yeah. So maybe they're doing the thing like you said. So I mean, I think it seems like it being set in like this other universe, this retro '60s type universe, Galactus will destroy that world. It's the reason why that actress from Ozark is cast as Silver Surfer because that was the same
Yeah,
situation. So
yeah, because we'll see kind of a weird alternate Silver Surfer, and then we're going to get a more traditional one as well. I don't know if at the same time or later, but we know that they're going to do that kind of. We're going to see like a weird kind of different take on it first, and then move to the real one. So it's possible they're doing that with Doctor Doom. I mean, my hope is that it's their way of trying to keep the actual actor for Doctor Doom from leaking out, or to keep people from trying to figure out who it is. This way, everybody's distracted. Everybody thinks they already know, and then bam, 5 minutes into the movie, the real Doctor Doom either an assassination attempt takes out this fake one, or maybe he kills his own false representation. I just if it truly is what it is on its surface, and he just is Doctor Doom, there's nothing else to it, I will be very disappointed.
yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they're playing a great fake out game. Maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe that's just
Totally
cope.
possible.
I don't know. Maybe we're
It
just
might be.
coping.
Well,
'Cause
I saw the Deadpool with my cousin yesterday, and I thought he made an interesting point that uh, before the Kang stuff seemingly got kind of shut down and halted, it was a Kang Avengers movie, and then Secret War was always the second part, and that is a Doctor Doom story. So he made an interesting point that maybe it was always meant to be like Kang Part One, and that there was going to be a bait and switch where Doctor Doom took over from Kang going into the second movie, and maybe they've just moved that bait and switch up a little bit. And because they don't have Kang, they're going to do two Doctor Dooms so they can still kind of have that bait and switch.
Mm, interesting. Maybe we'll have that, and then I think it's presumable. I think you said, or some people are speculating after Secret Wars that it'll basically be like a soft reboot for the MCU. Because right now it's kind of
Yeah.
running into the situation where the comics are, where everything's kind of so many movies, so many shows, continuity is running into each other, things that are canon that's causing issues there. So maybe it'll be with after Secret Wars that keep the stuff you like, get rid of the stuff you don't like, kind of smooth over some things there. And
One of the
and
biggest aftermath elements of the Secret War comic book was there was no more Ultimate Universe, and Miles Morales had been kind of moved into the main world and then coexisted alongside Peter rather than his original origin of the Ultimate Comics, where Peter dies and he takes over. And then you have a relationship between both of them a little bit more like how it is in the game. So that is what the Secret Wars comic did, is it folded characters from different worlds into the main continuity. So I think this is for sure their way of getting X-Men and Fantastic Four into the main timeline.
yeah, which people want. People are excited about Fantastic Four. They want people to get Fantastic Four right. They want to. They people been begging. They want to get it right. I don't know who's the director of Fantastic Four. Is it I forgot who's the director?
Uh, I want to say Matt Sheckman. I want to say his
Oh
name.
yes,
He
uh,
primarily like known for directing episodes of like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So I'm
yes.
wondering if he's bringing any of that energy to the Fantastic Four. I still want to see Danny DeVito as Mole Man. I still think that would be a lot of fun.
Yes, you're right. He did do episodes of Always Sunny. He did 43 episodes of that show. He directed
Yeah, he's
more
been on there
episodes.
for a while.
Yeah, more episodes of that than any other thing on TV. So he's done a lot of TV work. He's done things like Psych. He's done things like New Girl, WandaVision. He directed 9 episodes of. He did Monarch. He did a couple episodes of that. So he's mostly been a TV director. He's
Yeah,
got a
definitely.
he's done a movie called Cut Bank. It was
I've
an
not seen
A20. It's an A24 movie. I don't know
that.
about it. Yeah, I don't know about it. But yeah, he directed, and it was with the Hemsworth brother, Liam Hemsworth. So he directed. So yeah. So yeah, you got that going on. So yeah, so that's the slate they announced. That was pretty much the big news there for them. With Marvel Spider-Man 4, no real details about that one. As far as I don't think they don't have a
Yeah,
director yet. Um,
I think it is also partially up to Sony to be like announcing like release dates for it and stuff. So it makes sense that like the Marvel panel maybe didn't get to kind of show that off.
yeah. So yeah, Spider-Man 4 there. But Deadpool and Wolverine, you mentioned you saw that. That's the
I
big
got
movie.
the popcorn bucket and everything.
Got the popcorn. You're lucky enough to get the popcorn bucket and everything like that.
Even
Did they
says
have
can also be used for popcorn on the bottom there.
very nice, yeah. So they just was there also a Deadpool one, or did you just want the Wolverine one there?
They didn't have the Deadpool one when I went to go get it, and I went like Thursday morning. I just took a trip just to get the popcorn bucket, and yeah, whatever. I haven't even seen what the Deadpool one is supposed to be because they just didn't have it at all.
Yeah, because I guess every theater has their own Deadpool and Wolverine popcorn bucket. Like some have their own kind of different ones there. Um,
It's almost like the like special editions of like comic books now. It's going to be like every theater's got a different weird popcorn fleshlight.
so you got this one, you got the
Oh, okay.
Wolverine one here. I got this one. This is the one I got right here.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know. When I got it, I was like, I got home. I was like, man, I don't want this shit. I wanted the other one. I wanted this one. Kind of was disappointed there. So you got that one. This one, I guess, is one. Okay, yeah.
It's okay. I wonder what theater's selling that one.
So I guess this is the Deadpool one here with the mouth open. So that's the one you
Okay.
got.
Yeah, I didn't see that one at all.
Yeah. So you have them. So each theater has their own like special things. They also have like did you get the water bottle? They got like water bottles and all that type of
No,
merch.
by the time yeah, I didn't. I saw the water bottles there. I didn't really go for it. But by the time I actually saw the movie yesterday, the only thing left on the shelf was like Despicable Me popcorn buckets. And I definitely wasn't getting one of those.
Uh, Despicable Me there, but this is crushing. Of course, as many people probably already predicted, this is the biggest opening for any R-rated movie ever. It's already made, I think, over $400 million just in its opening weekend here. Yeah, actually, no, it says it's collected 205 million in its opening weekend, ranking as the eighth best debut of all time, ahead of 2018's Black Panther, and behind 2015's Jurassic World there. So
Is
this is
that's got to be a number one for R-rated movies then, yeah?
yeah. So it did that oh, so yeah, it did. So let's see here. It says hold on. So it did rake in it says internationally Deadpool Wolverine captured 233 million. So domestically it did 205, globe internationally it did 233 for a staggering global tally of 438 million after 3 days of
Okay.
release. And it's already the sixth highest grossing movie of 2024.
Wow.
Um, where do you think it's going? You think it's going a billion? You think?
I mean, I think it's possible. I mean, I think I feel like it doesn't have. It's funny because it's like kind of picking up off the whole Fox universe, but somehow I feel like it does have managed to have less baggage than some of the other Marvel movies going into it. And I think it's just the nature of the Deadpool movies and how much just kind of pure comedies they are. So I guess I can see it going up there. I mean, it seems like the word of mouth is pretty good. I've seen mostly positive reviews for it. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it could be a billion. I mean, so far, what Inside Out 2 is the only $1 billion movie this
Yes.
year.
Yeah.
I feel like this could be the second one. I think it's
Yeah.
possible.
What did you think about it? You saw it. What did you think?
Yeah, I liked it. I have some criticisms. I don't think it's a perfect film, but I think the comedy works. I think the duo between the two leads, I think, works really well. Yeah, I've been talking about the movie a lot over the last just the night and today, and I think it an interesting thing that came up in those conversations was in Deadpool 2, I think there was a little bit of a mistake made where Cable is kind of this iconic duo partner character for Deadpool. And in the movie, it was kind of like, well, let's have Cable be chasing them Terminator style, and Deadpool's dynamic is going to be off this other character that Cable's trying to kill. And I thought that was the missed opportunity because it's like, I want to see Deadpool and Cable interact. So in some ways, this movie is almost doing the Deadpool Cable dynamic, even though it's Wolverine. It's kind of capturing the Deadpool Cable relationship from the comics in a way, more so than Deadpool 2 did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's Deadpool is good when he's got somebody good to bounce off of, good straight man.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about Deadpool 1. It had Colossus in it, and I thought that was really good. And then
His
Deadpool
his
2,
bouncing off Vanessa is really good in the first movie, I think.
yeah, that as well. Deadpool 2 just it was too much. Too many characters. You got the new characters, you got Cable, and then you got Domino, and then you got, the kid and all that other this is too much. And then also you got to bring also the old characters from the first movie in here too. It just was just too many characters, too much going on there. That movie suffered. This one, I mean, at its core, I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine, which is what you're coming to see the movie for, it does a good job at that. I think, the friendship of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, they are friends in real life, from my understanding. That does carry over into the movie, and that chemistry does carry on. And I think they work well together. And I think they are pretty funny together there. In the movie, I mean, it made me laugh. I mean, it had some good laugh moments in there. I love the stuff with Nice Pool. I thought that was good. The conclusion of that was pretty funny. I love that. The Nice Pool there stuff. Yeah, what did you think about the I don't want you to maybe say because we're gonna do a spoiler review, probably this Friday, but what did
Yeah.
you think about the cameos in it?
It's the thing where like I'm of two minds on it. Because I think some of that stuff it's the kind of thing where I kind of roll my eyes at it a little bit in Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. And it's not that it's necessarily being done particularly differently here, but I do think that it is, to me, it works better just because of the nature of Deadpool, what Deadpool is as a character. And I mean, I think even in this movie, I still think Deadpool is still pulled back a bit from how zany he is in the comic books, right? I mean, in the comics, he's like a been referred to as like a psycho Bugs Bunny Looney Tunes character. And so there's a little bit more grounded feeling to his personality. a little bit more drama in certain places in these movies than I necessarily feel like is present in the comics. Which maybe that's a thing that makes this version better, right? In certain ways. But I think just Deadpool being such a comedy focused character, I think the cameos here, I wasn't necessarily like, woo, I'm gonna clap and stand up in the theater about them. Um, but I do think, to me, they work better here just in the context of what Deadpool is versus Spider-Man or Doctor Strange, where I'm like, I expect a little bit more dramatic story out of those characters. Um, so yeah, it's not, it's like I think you could still tell a story without necessarily using those for the nostalgia, but again, I think they work better here in this context just because of what character we're looking at.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. And they do something with the characters, maybe more than something like in Doctor Strange 2 with the Illumawati and all that, and they're there to and I thought that scene was cool. I mean, them getting killed, I thought that was a good gore scene, as far as
The big thing is you should have had Bruce Campbell as Nick Fury in there. That was the big missed opportunity.
that would have been cool. Him as Nick Fury, yeah, that would have been pretty cool. Hasn't his character Ash been a part of the Marvel? Hasn't he done like a team up with somebody in Marvel before?
There's like a comic book, so like there's the Marvel Zombies like alternate universe. There
Yeah.
is like it's like Ash versus Evil that or the Ash versus the Marvel Zombies. So he's had crossovers with like that particular alternate reality. I don't, as far as I know, I don't think there's ever been like a main 616 universe Ash Williams crossover, but
Here's
there's
he is with
definitely been that at least.
Deadpool right here. He's with Deadpool.
Oh, well, there you go. I wonder how canon that is considered. But
Oh, yeah. Okay. Out of all the characters, it makes sense why you'd be with Deadpool.
yeah, I
Um,
mean, like I said, Deadpool really is a more of a psycho Bugs Bunny Looney Tunes character in the comics. I mean, he's far more just absurd and goofy. I think. I mean, it's the big crux of drama for Deadpool in the comics is that he knows he isn't real. Like he's that's part. It's what drives him insane is that he knows that he is a fictional character who's written and manipulated for the entertainment of people in another reality, being the audience reading the comics. And that's kind of the sad part of his character, which to me, again, like I like, his relationship with Vanessa in the movies, his relationship with Wolverine in this movie. But I sometimes I do wish they would go all the way with that element of the character. But I don't know, maybe it wouldn't work in a movie. I don't know.
oh, it's this and with this being a huge success as it is, already making $500 million already just in 3 days. People going like, well, okay, where does Deadpool now go as a character beyond this? How is he going to
Right.
be integrated into the MCU? What is he going to be doing? Is there going to be a Deadpool 4? I mean, because Deadpool feels like a character that works when other people are pulled into his universe rather than him going to someone else's universe. There,
I think
Wolverine.
he'll I think he'll be like Fantastic Four, where he's established as being part of a different world. Secret Wars will collapse all that into one place.
Yeah. Maybe they'll just Wolverine is Hugh Jackman done? Is he hanging up the claws? Is he ever gonna come back? Uh
I think he's not done. I don't think I don't think he's done.
yeah. The big rumor is that with Secret Wars, they're gonna bring everybody back. They're gonna bring Hugh Jackman, they're gonna bring Tobey Maguire, they're gonna bring Andrew Garfield, they're
Yeah.
gonna bring everybody. Everybody you can think of. Everybody you've ever seen put on a superhero costume, they're bring Howard the Duck from the old 1990s, man. They're gonna bring him back. They're gonna have him show up, team up with
I could do without that.
they're gonna team up. So everybody's coming back. I mean, do you lend much thought to that? You think that's gonna
I
happen?
I think I think at least I think at least Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire. I think for sure. I think there's no way they pass up the chance to put those two on screen together in Secret Wars. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing with Secret Wars in the comics is, the multiverse collapses. Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange kind of create like a weird miniature world that's got like pieces from a bunch of different realities. And then at the end of that story, that kind of gets blown up and it becomes a bunch of separate worlds again afterwards. But you have again, that's where you move Miles Morales over. So I think we get like that weird conglomerate miniature world in Secret Wars, and then afterwards we get kind of a new MCU. Honestly, what I'm hoping is that they use that as an opportunity to not have a multiverse anymore. Like even in the Deadpool movie, they make some jokes about like, hey, this multiverse thing is not, maybe it's not turning out all that great. Maybe we shouldn't be doing it anymore. So I guess play it out to the Secret Wars story. But if I think the smartest thing would be to use that opportunity to be like, all right, we're hitting the delete button on the multiverse. We'll use a real story to do it and to make that happen, and there'll be an in movie reason for there not to be a multiverse anymore. But I do think it would be smart to get rid of it or to use the opportunity to get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what this new phase is called, right? Phase 5. It's the
Like the
multiverse
multiverse. I think
saga.
4, 5, and then I don't know if the Secret Wars stuff is considered phase 6, or if that's considered like 3 phases. But I know 4 and 5, at least for sure, are both kind of considered like multiverse saga.
Yeah. And they've done like Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, No Way Home, this one. What
Loki's the other big one.
Loki, yeah,
Loki
Loki, which they
show.
do reference heavy in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie.
I mean, that's one reason why I think I like this Deadpool movie at least a little bit more than say like Spider-Man No Way Home. Is I felt like Loki set up a grounded kind of structure for a multiverse story to be in. It created some set of rules and logic for a multiverse story to not get completely out of control. And then, that's one of the things that bugged me about the Spider-Man and Doctor Strange movies is this: that you set up this whole organization that kind of revolves around this idea, and then you do 2 multiverse movies with no mention of this organization at any point. And so I think this Deadpool movie works a little better than those, just because they used the pre-existing structure to make sense of there being a multiverse.
Yeah. So we got that kind of coming up there. So I don't know. I don't know what the future is for Wolverine, Deadpool. What's going on? How they're going to be used in the MCU? Obviously, this is a huge hit. People seem to generally like it. I think the response has been pretty good on it. Um, I know a lot of people said the MCU falling off, dead, whatever people want to say about it. Obviously, this is making a lot of money. Then with X-Men 97, like I said, dominoes, just got to keep knocking them down. Kind of got to keep
Yeah.
having things that people like there to get people interested
If
again.
Fantastic Four is the winner, that'll be another big one to kind of carry forward.
Okay, yeah, Fantastic Four, that's a big one. The footage there they showed. So again, I mean, if they can do a good one there, and that's coming out 2025. Fantastic Four, yeah, 2025.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, let me
So what are we
see.
getting? Are we getting 3 movies next year? Because I also think another reason Deadpool and Wolverine, I think, is probably doing so well at the box office is there hasn't been a Marvel movie this year otherwise, and there's not going to be another one the rest of the year.
Yeah,
It feels like it has a lot of room to breathe and to not exhaust people by coming so soon after something else, or having something else come so soon after it. So I think that's also a factor in why it is doing as well as it is.
true. And it's been because Deadpool 2 came out 2018, so it's been 6 years since the last
Yes.
Deadpool movie. It's been 6 years.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
let people miss a character, let
Uh,
them miss a character and not see him for a while. So it's
yeah.
okay to not get an update, constantly.
Yeah. So this is the slate for if nothing changes, this is the slate right now for 2025 for Marvel movies. So the first one's going to be next year in February, Captain America: Brave New World. Then in May, it's going to be Thunderbolts. Then in July, it's going to be Fantastic Four. Then, if I don't think this release date is going to happen, but Blade November.
Yeah, there's no way that one's making it.
Yeah. Then after that is going to be Avengers Doomsday in 2026, and then Secret Wars in
Okay.
2027. So there's that. So if let's just say three, because Blade ain't gonna come out. Let's just say three. Three is gonna be coming out.
And
Uh,
I'm interested in 2 of those.
yeah. Which are you interested? Captain America and Fantastic Four?
I'm interested in Captain America and Fantastic Four.
Not
The Thunderbolts one, I feel like it's just, I don't know. I haven't been sold on them really doing that yet as a movie. I feel like it feels largely like a follow up to the Black Widow film, which maybe might be my least favorite thing that they've put out as far as movies go. So
really. That's your least favorite one. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, even Eternals, I thought maybe might have been a little more boring, but I thought it was slightly more competent, even if I thought it was dull. I really think that Black Widow movie might is like the bottom of the MCU.
Yeah, and well, hey, at least Captain America: Brave New World, they're finally acknowledging what happened in Eternals. They get the Sentinel, and they're gonna,
True.
yeah, they're gonna like that's how they're gonna bring in adamantium into the universe. Is through that
Yeah, and
symbol.
then Tim Blake Nelson as the leader too is coming back after 16 years. That cliffhanger in that in the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk movie.
Yeah, he's coming back. Yeah, Edward Norton's he didn't come back, but he's coming back, and also
Do you think they'll get Edward Norton and Terrence Howard to show up somewhere?
in Secret Wars they show it as multiverse. I mean,
I
I don't know.
mean,
Edward Norton might, I guess. I mean, he might like the check, but I don't
yeah,
know. Terrence Howard, I don't know. He
Terrence
seems
Howard
pretty.
might. He probably wouldn't be allowed near the set.
He seems pretty bitter after what happened
Yeah.
at Iron Man. I think the issue was like I think a contract dispute. I think of like he wanted more money or something, and then
Yeah. Well, my understanding is he wanted a bigger paycheck because Robert Downey Jr.'s paycheck increased from Iron Man 1 to 2 significantly.
yeah,
But um, if I remember right, I'm pretty sure that Terrence Howard had the biggest paycheck of the cast in the first movie. So
mm,
it's not like he was snubbed in the first film. It's just like, hey, it's a sequel. First one did well. Top title character actor is going to get a bigger paycheck because I mean, I don't know. It seemed weird that he would be so stingy about that. But
yeah. I don't know. He makes it seem like Robert Downey Jr. kind of screwed him over or something. I don't know all the real details. I don't know. Maybe there's something that happened that we
yeah.
don't know behind the scenes,
Well, we
interpersonal
know
relations.
he's invented his own new kind of math, so maybe he's going by that when he says he wasn't getting
Yeah.
paid enough.
Yeah, maybe he's doing that. He's doing that Terrence Howard math. You know what I mean? He instead of multiplying, he's going, instead of one times one is two. He's going one times one is two instead of just the one. That's maybe how he's doing the contract. Maybe he's not adding right. He's
Yeah,
not multiplying right there. So yeah, so 3 movies coming out this
persecuted like Copernicus.
year. Yeah. So other stuff came out San Diego Comic Con there. Creature Commandos. Talk about some DC stuff real quick. This is
Yeah,
the James Gunn animated show. This is part of his whole animated universe there. I mean, or DC universe. So these superheroes kind of coming out there.
it's kind of the first real thing we're seeing. I mean, he did do the Suicide Squad movie and the Peacemaker show, but I don't still don't know how canon those are. But this is like the first real entry in his rebooted universe.
Let's take a look at this trailer. I haven't seen this trailer. Let's take a look.
General Flag. This is Belle Reeve
And you have Viola.
for over 50.
The plan is that all the actors who play them in the movies will voice the characters in animation. That's at least
Yeah, so this is Rick Flag Sr., the father of the character that we see in the Suicide Squad movies, and he's being voiced by Frank Grillo, I believe, in
yeah.
in here, and then Frank Grillo will return to play him later.
Yeah. Who people might know he played what was it, Crossbones or Skull?
Crossbones. Yep.
Crossbones and Winter Soldier. And then he was also in Civil War there.
50 years, only those at the uppermost levels are aware of its existence.
I thought Congress put a stop to all Task Force X activities.
Congress said you can't use human prisoners. These assholes aren't human.
You smiling
Yes.
sarcastically?
That's Alan Tudyk. Right?
Huh.
He's pissing!
So do you know these characters as well?
I'm not super familiar with Creature Commandos. I've
Is your
really
new
just read
task
about
force.
them and looked at images from the comics. A lot of them seem to be very focused on,
Let's call it task
your Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula,
also
actually
known as-
fighting Nazis in World War II and being, I guess I don't know when the comics first came out, but certainly closer to that time than now. But this definitely seems to be setting up where maybe they did that back in the day and they like haven't gone out and done something since, and so they're kind of being brought out for the first time and like since World War II was actually happening. Um,
Mm.
but yes, I mean it seems like a really promising idea at least, and yeah, I think this is the thing. One of the things I really appreciate about James Gunn is, you're going to put out your first two projects for your universe reboot. One of them, Superman, mainstream character that people are familiar with, and the other one is Creature Commandos, which I feel like certainly is not mainstream.
Okay. And I saw the bride. She gave the finger there, so I don't know if it's gonna be maybe they're gonna go R-rated, like Harley Quinn show, maybe.
I bet it'll at least have the R-rated violence going on because I mean it's going to debut on HBO, so
Yeah. So you have let's see here, who's this? So Rick Flag Sr. as we mentioned there. You have Sean Gunn, who James Gunn always got to hook his brother up there. He's gonna be G.I. Robot there. You also have David Harbour, who's
probably
also
doing the weasel growl like this, I'm assuming.
yeah, he's also Weasel as well, yeah. Who also he showed up in Suicide Squad. He also did the body work. He also did the work for that. You have David Harbour here, who's Frankenstein. People know David Harbour, Stranger Things there. Also in the MCU, he's getting that double check, getting that double superhero check there.
Good on him.
Alan Tudyk is Dr. Fosterus there. You also have Indira Varma there is Frankenstein, who's also in there, and Viola Davis, who's returned as Amanda Waller there. Yeah, you also have Steve Agee, who's John from Peacemaker show. He was the Argus agent, so he's also returned there from Peacemaker. Yeah. So it says following the events of the first season of Peacemaker, Amanda Waller is no longer able to put human lives in jeopardy for her clandestine operations as she did with the Suicide Squad and Team Peacemaker. Instead, she assembles a Black Ops team of monsters called the Creature Commandos. Um,
So it does pick up somewhat directly off of the Peacemaker
yeah,
series then.
yeah, and they are doing Peacemaker season 2. They are doing season 2, and I think they said
Yeah.
that Joel Kinnaman will be in Peacemaker season 2 as Rick Flag. I guess as like a flashback, or like him talking to him as a
Maybe
ghost.
seeing visions.
Yeah, visions or something
Yeah.
like that.
I know they're also doing like I think she's called Waller, but like an Amanda Waller like mini series as well.
Okay, they're also doing that. Who I do love, Viola Davis is Amanda Waller. I do really like her. Perfect
I'm glad
casting.
if any of the actors they carried over, I'm glad she's one of them.
Yeah. So what do you think? I mean, James Gunn again. It seems like is he drawn too much, back to the well with a weird group of people band together. He did it Suicide Squad. He did it with Guardians of the Galaxy. He's doing it again here. What do you think? It's just too much going to the well again, or what?
I mean, it certainly it could be, but I feel like I've yet to see him do it badly. So I don't know. I think it's certainly it's a pattern that it could potentially wear itself out by just doing the team thing maybe too many times. But I do feel like as of yet we haven't hit that moment just because I feel like we haven't seen them do it poorly or do it so frequently that it just becomes obnoxious. Like every year you see in 2 to 3 collective like outcast team up stories. Those Guardians movies were all years apart from each other, and this will be at least it's not a sequel to Suicide Squad. It is a different set of characters. So I guess we'll see. It's possible that maybe some of those dynamics present themselves, but so far I feel like this looks different enough. It's also nice just to see it. It's animation that's adult oriented that isn't like purely just like a Family Guy, Rick and Morty comedy series. Though of
Yeah.
course I'm sure there will be a lot of comedy in it, but
Who's the Shape of Water chick? I don't know. I don't think I mentioned her.
I'm very much like a Creature of the Black Lagoon type. Like I
Okay.
said, I'm not super familiar with these characters directly. I've just read little blurbs about some of them, but
Yeah. I think I
definitely
don't.
that archetype.
Okay. Creature of the Black Lagoon. Yeah, like you mentioned there. Shape of Water there. They even got a bathtub scene, just like in Shape of Water. They got that there for people
I
who
hope it doesn't end the same way.
who are into that there. So yeah. And that's coming out. I don't think is there a
I
release
think
date
they
on
said
that?
December, but it didn't have an exact date.
Yeah, December of this year. Yeah, it's coming out. So they have that there. And it's a 7 episode. He wrote all 7 episodes of the series, James Gunn. So it's only a limited 7 episode series there.
I mean, that's also really nice, right? Just I think that'll work in its favor. I think James Gunn has a good idea of let's not wear the audience out with too many things all the time. he's made a good point about how, hey, we're gonna finish making the Superman movie, and then we'll like move on to making the next movie. It's not constantly like, I worry about that with Marvel, right? Like we had one movie this year, seemed successful. Next year, we're already going back to 3, 4 movies if Blade comes out. It's just like I think that's just going too much too quickly. I think DC has the right idea where we're announcing a couple of things. These will come out slowly, one at a time. I think that's going to be work much better to its favor.
And so this is part of DCU's Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. That's the first chapter there of this. And so in that slate, it would be Superman, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, The Authority, The Brave and the Bold, and Swamp Thing. Right, the movies scheduled to be a part of that chapter.
Yeah, and then what's it? Creature Commandos, the season 2 of Peacemaker, the Waller miniseries, Booster Gold, and Lanterns, I think, are like the shows that are part of that chapter 1.
Good memory, yeah. Yeah, Creature Commandos, you're missing one.
Oh, what was the one I was missing?
Paradise Lost.
Oh, that's right. The kind of like Themyscira Civil War one. Yeah.
It says this series is a political Paradise Lost. This series is a political drama about the scheming and power struggles on the all-female island of Themyscira, birthplace of Wonder Woman. In December 22, Patty Jenkins was revealed to no longer be developing a sequel to Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman 84. After being told by Gunn and Safran that such a film did not fit within their new plans. I
By
totally.
that, did they need Wonder Woman as a predator doesn't fit into their new plans?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I mean, thank you for your service, but get the hell out. I don't want, I don't want to see you touching Wonder Woman again. When Gunn and Safran unveiled their initial DCU slate a month later, they included Paradise Lost, which they compared to Game of Thrones. The title is similar to Paradise Island Lost, a comic book story arc by Phil Jimenez and George Perez about a civil war on Themyscira. Have you read that? Do you know about that?
I have not read that one.
Okay. Yeah, and I don't think Booster Gold. There's some rumors that it may be Camille Nanjiani. I think it's Booster Gold. There's some rumors about that.
Probably,
I
I
don't.
think you could probably pull that personality off.
Yeah, I want to say. I mean, he got in shape for nothing. I ain't seen that dude take off his shirt yet. I mean, he got all that good
Yeah.
shape. Being in like, bro, it's like, bro, what you getting all this good shape for? You ain't doing nothing with it. So hopefully he gets to play. I mean, he got it for internals, but he was all covered in robes and all that other stuff. It's like, man, you didn't.
Yeah, and
Um.
not one time.
So yeah, so that's the slate there. Lanterns. Yeah, that's gonna be good. Peacemaker 2, and then there's
That one
also supposed to
only
be.
that just got its official green light to start pre-production. Actually,
Yeah. And then also there's an untitled Blue Beetle series supposedly maybe coming.
okay.
Yeah. I thought the movie was okay. I thought Blue Beetle was
I still haven't seen that one. I do need to watch that. I know Gunn has said that like the story of the movie isn't necessarily going to count and be carried forward, just that the actor will carry forward.
yeah. Anything other from DC you want to talk about before we move on to Mortal Kombat?
No, I mean, I think that's pretty much everything that they announced. Other than I guess Lanterns did get very recently. It's like official green light to start kind of moving into pre-production. So I bet we'll start hearing about some casting choices for that pretty soon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I know that the Penguin show is coming. I know that's coming pretty soon. And it's
Yeah, it's like I think it's in September. I
yep,
want to say
September
September
8th.
19th. That's my
The
September
trailers
8th.
look
Oh,
really
even
good.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sold on it. I think what I heard was that the Penguin will cover it'll cover like a week's worth of time, and the second Batman film will pick up right at the end of that week. So there's like only like a week passing in between those two movies.
And it's Colin Farrell returning as Oswald Cobblepot, who I thought was very good in the Batman. And
Oh
he
yeah,
says he based his performance off Harvey Weinstein, I think, Colin Farrell
I
said.
I can see with that makeup. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said that he got in all that makeup to basically look like that guy. What's his name? I think it was his name. The actor from he was in Curb Your Enthusiasm. He was in God, I'm blanking on this. He was in damn, I'm blanking on it. He's a character actor. Um, oh man. I mean, I
I'm
know
not sure.
like was he like oh man. cousin. Oh yes, Richard Kind. That's the guy. Uh,
Oh yeah.
somebody said he got in all that makeup basically just to look like this guy. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's
I
basically kind of
mean,
what he looks like. Yeah.
it's it is very similar, although I will say one looks intimidating and the other looks like your dentist.
I don't know. Maybe he could pull off intimidating. I don't know. I've never really seen him anything really
Maybe you
too
could.
dramatic. I never really seen him anything too dramatic. But I don't know. Maybe he could be
I
good there.
mean,
But
I'm trying to remember. I feel like it's a lot of bit parts and like sitcoms that I've seen him in, other than like, well, Gotham kind of turned into a sitcom after not very long, but he was like the mayor in that show too.
yeah, he's done voice work. He was the imaginary friend, and inside he was Bebo Bebop or what was the character's
Okay.
name? Bing Bong Bing Bong.
Uh, Bing Bong. Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
I honestly didn't remember.
yeah.
Not a great example of intimidating though.
Yeah, Rocksteady and Bing Bong, yeah, he was playing that guy,
Okay.
yeah. So yeah, so you got the Penguin series there, I know, and then Harley Quinn, they announced season 5 of Harley Quinn, so that's coming.
I
Um,
fell hard off that show.
yeah, I haven't I kind of felt not because I didn't like it, it's just because this is so much I have to watch, but I think I
I
fell
honestly thought it dropped in quality with the third season.
yeah, you didn't like when they got together? I feel like when they got together, it kinda lost the steam a little bit, I don't know.
Yeah, just it felt like there was less of a drive and purpose to it. I think the will they won't they is a lot more interesting than they already have, and we have to kind of figure out a whole new dynamic.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, so there's that. Kite Man, he's getting the show. For some reason, Kite
Yeah,
Man.
I think the premiered already, right? We were just talking about watching that earlier today. I haven't yet though.
So that's a spinoff from the Harley Quinn show. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
It's been
Kite
sold
Man.
to me as like Cheers, but Kite Man.
Okay. So Kite Man, he's got his own show. Uh, I know they announced Batman 2. So Batman 2, I think they already announced Batman
Yeah.
2 is coming. So they already did that. All right. Let's get into Mortal Kombat. So that was another thing come out of there, the expansion trailer for Mortal Kombat. Are you still playing Mortal Kombat pretty heavy?
Yeah, I'd flip it on probably at least once a week and go through like an arcade ladder. I mean,
Okay.
I remember, back when that was literally all you can do, and you could only pick from like 7 characters total. So for me, as long as I can have fun with that, I don't necessarily need new content all the time for a fighting game. Sometimes I think it can be too much sometimes when they put a lot of new content out. You get a little microtransaction heavy. That's one of the big criticisms with this game, right? Is that that online cosmetic store for like skins and costumes and stuff, and it's very overpriced, the stuff that they put on there, and it just seems like previous games in this franchise, you just got some costumes because you paid for the game. You weren't spending like $10 to get a skin. um, I think that's a super valid complaint a lot of people have about the game. It doesn't, bother me maybe as much because I just ignore that part entirely and I just don't engage with it. But I mean, I think all this new stuff here, I think this looks pretty good.
So this is
With
Cyrax and Sector, right? And then
Yeah, they've gender bent those characters because it's a whole different reality or whatever, and you still have kind of the original iterations of them as like creators of their own realities because Mortal Kombat's gotten that ridiculous at this point. Nah,
yeah,
you got Noob Saibot looking like a Monster Energy drink over there.
yeah, he does look like a monster energy drink there. And people said this was probably the most sauceless Noob Saibot ever right here. Uh,
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think his design is not maybe my favorite for him, but I do think his voice is maybe the best it's ever been.
okay, let me look at his he talks where right here a little bit.
Yeah, somewhere right around there.
Is chaos. All must embrace it.
Yeah, and in 11, he was a little too scratchy voiced for me. I can hear it. He sounds more like he did in 9 again, which I much prefer.
As you remember.
Okay. And then people are complaining Cyrax and Sector, it's not like actual robots. They're like people in like suits. They're like they're in Iron Man suits
It's,
there. Do you like
it's a
that?
little bit. I mean, to be honest, that's not the first time they've done that. Back in Deadly Alliance, which would have been the 5th game. It would have been that was like the first one that didn't come out in the arcades. The version of Cyrax that was in that game also had like kind of his faceplate like kind of opened up, and he had like a more human body that had been restored and then armor placed on it. So it's not the only time they've ever had that in the franchise. So I mean, it doesn't bother me. Also, with Mortal Kombat, the big thing is I just don't think you can take this world all that seriously at the first place. Every single game does something completely different with the characters. They all look completely different every game. They're going to look completely different again in the next one. So, hey, if you don't like it, whatever. But also they're just going to change it up again the next go around. So, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, I know that at Evo, I think this is one of the most least played games at Evo
Yeah.
there. This
I mean, I
year.
think a big backlash is largely due to the cosmetics, like the overpriced cosmetics, and I really get that part of it. I do. I just find myself able to ignore and I just don't buy them. But like, I don't blame people for kind of sitting the game out because they went so over the top with that
Yeah.
stuff.
And then here, you see, so these are kind of the guest characters. The first one being Ghostface from the Scream series here. Um, and people had some funny memes there about like whether you're going to do against zoners with Ghostface or how that's kind of going to be operating there. Um,
Yeah, I'm curious to see.
how do you feel about Ghostface? Ghostface coming. I mean, a lot of these characters, I don't know. I feel like the announcement was kind of meh because it was already leaked already, so a lot of people know already.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has known all six of these DLC characters for almost an entire year
Yeah.
already. So, it's not surprising. I think it might have been different if it was truly a surprise that these were who they were going with. There was also an element of the pandemic cut and Mortal Kombat 11's development time a little short. I do believe that game was supposed to have another round of characters, and seeing as that game had, the T-800, Terminator, and Rambo and RoboCop like Spawn in it, that game specifically went through this kind of like 80s, 90s action movie characters theme.
Mhm.
And so, I've heard rumor, and they're not confirmed or anything, but I've heard rumor that that game was actually supposed to receive this particular set of characters, and that they had to push them off. And I think it might have made more sense based on who the other guest characters were in the last game.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really like when they do these horror icons, especially. Um, and none of the Mortal Kombat characters being able to fight each other has ever made any sense. You got an actor and a god and a robot and a dude with four. None of it's really ever made a lot of sense. So, I feel like, hey, just a regular serial killer. Why not? Why not? I don't think that's any sillier than anything else Mortal Kombat does.
Alright.
Rambo. Rambo's just a guy, right? He was in the last one.
Here you have the T-1000, who will be,
Yeah.
and actually should mention with Ghostface, Eric, and the person who does the Ghostface voice from the Scream movies. I
Is
think.
that Roger Jackson?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really
This
do.
is Robert Patrick too. I think this is Robert Patrick
Yeah,
actually doing the
yeah.
voice.
Because what else? I mean, what else
Which
is
I mean,
Robert
I think
Patrick?
that's kind of funny. Well, yeah. What else is Patrick doing? I mean, I think that's what's funny because you have John Cena as Peacemaker, and he was the villain in the Peacemaker show.
Yeah. So people have that there. But I mean, hey, I don't mean to disrespect Robert Patrick. He was very good in Reacher. He was a good villain in Reacher. I liked him in Reacher.
Hmm.
If you ever watched that, so he's good.
I have not seen that.
So yeah, T-1000 here. So you have that. Um, I guess he would be a more close up because he's got the long more reach because he's got the long kind of things that he can use
Mhm.
there. If you've seen Terminator 2, he's got that kind of going on. Probably also speed. He'd probably be a
Yeah,
fast character too.
yeah. I'm guessing I'm sure they'll have something where he does that run. They
Yeah,
have to work that in somehow.
yeah, he does the run there. You get the T-1000. Conan Barbarian, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who still won't be voiced by Arnold Schwarzenegger there.
Yeah, no.
I guess
It's
he
funny
just
because
doesn't.
Sylvester Stallone did do Rambo's voice in the last game, I believe. So it's funny that they couldn't get Arnold to.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, you had another iconic character he did in the last one. He did the T-800. Here, another iconic character, Arnold
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger, Conan Barbarian. What do you think about Conan the Barbarian here?
I mean, I think it fits with a lot of the other stuff they've done. I mean, I think for maybe a certain younger generation of people, maybe these guest characters don't make as much sense. But I do think that you got to also keep in mind that the people doing Mortal Kombat games are probably in their late 50s at this point. Like they grew up watching late 70s, 80s, and early 90s action films. So to me, it fits well with the pattern. I mean, we'll see what the moveset looks like when he actually comes out. I think there was also a lot of doubt with Omni-Man and Homelander, where it's like you're going to do two Superman characters. Like, how do you differentiate them? And then I think when they actually came out, they were very different to play. So I have faith in their design team to give him good stuff to do.
Yeah. So what do you expect from Conan Barbarian? Because he's got the big sword. Is he going to be maybe more of a grappler with the sword? Maybe more of
I'm
like
definitely thinking, yeah, he'll play
uh
like Reiko a little bit, probably closer to that.
Reiko, maybe a little bit of what's the villain's name? I'm blanking the villain name from Mortal Kombat.
Goro,
No, the
the,
one with the
the four
hammer.
arms. Oh, Shao Kahn.
Shao Kahn. Maybe a little bit like with the hand with the sword, and maybe he can put the sword down and then he grab people a little bit. Seems like maybe they'll do a little more
Yeah,
grappling.
like a big, slower moving brute kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how you got expansion pack. You got Ghostface. You got Noob Saibot, Sector, Cyrax, Conan the Barbarian, T1000. You kind of got that going with kind of some of the guest characters besides the people. I guess you wouldn't really include the people that have already been in Mortal Kombat before, but a lot of the other ones here, like
Yeah.
like other kind of celebrity guest kind of people coming in here. Um, did you kind of want something out here? If you're doing kind of more 80s, 90s type stuff, did you want maybe a popular female character from the 80s, 90s, maybe like a
Um,
Buffy,
I've thought
Xena?
about that. That both of those could be really cool. Yeah, I mean, they've also said this game's going to get like a number of years of stuff. So I also feel like there's always the next go around. I don't think any of these are bad picks. I mean, maybe could they have been spread out and they paired with different ones this time, and then one or two of the others was in the next set with someone else. It could have been a thing. There's also been a lot of rumor hints from the head of the studio even about like Pinhead from Hellraiser, which I feel like that's probably coming maybe year three next year or something. But
Yeah,
I don't have an issue with any of these. I think it's just I think it comes across as maybe somewhat lackluster of a reveal because the information has just been out there for so long. Like
yeah,
everybody knew about this already. There was just no surprise factor to it.
yeah. Oh yeah, you have that. And this expansion is coming out, yeah, this year. Yeah, it's coming
Yeah,
out this very
September. I
year.
think all three of the Mortal Kombat characters drop day one with because it's also a big story expansion, right? Kind of like how M11 had that aftermath part. Um, and so it'll be another 3 hour like story mode to play through. Three new characters day one, and then you'll get the guest characters will be trickled out over time
Yeah.
afterwards.
Doing animalities here.
Yeah, hey, it's been 29 years, and only one previous game in the series has had animalities. So I think it's really cool to see those come back. That was my favorite part of this, honestly.
Is there any sense to the animality? Like, do the characters like
Absolutely not.
does it correspond to their personality, like what they do? Like, it makes sense. Like maybe Scorpion would be, a Scorpion. Obviously, that would make sense.
In the only other game they've had animalities, Scorpion turned into a tarantula, so it didn't even make that much sense.
Yeah.
And the
Gee,
only one that's made that has any in-universe logic is more Liu Kang turning into the dragon because he's had that as a regular fatality in a couple of other games. So that's a bit more of a regular thing for him. But no, there's no logic to them. They're just fun.
no, okay. So you got
And
that.
that's free for everyone that has the game. That is something that you don't have to buy the expansion to get those. Those are just going to be a free update.
Okay, that's very cool. All right. That was San Diego Comic Con there discussing that news. Get into these video game reviews, get into the show review. Then we're gonna be heading out of
Oh,
here.
did you have the Uzumaki?
Oh yes, I'm sorry about that.
It's a
Yes,
short one, but
Uzumaki. So there is a anime coming out of this based on the manga. There's coming out September 28th. It's gonna be there on Adult Swim. Very much excited about this. You were. Let us know about this.
yeah. So well, this was announced in 2019 with the intention of like a 2020 release. I mean, obviously, pandemic delayed a lot of things, but this then continued to get delayed from 21 to 2 to 3 to 4. Now it's here finally coming out. This is only going to be a 4 episode miniseries here, I believe. I believe that's the episode count they've gone. But I mean, I think just right on its face, you can see just such an incredible detail to this animation. This is based off of probably Junji Ito's most famous manga. He's a big horror creator in general. He's done a ton of books like Censor and Ramina. But Uzumaki is probably his most famous. Uzumaki is the Japanese word for spiral, and it is like this kind of he really dabbles in some of the kind of cosmic horror, something like maybe H.P. Lovecraft type cosmic horror, where it's more about kind of not being able to comprehend or understand the forces at play here. So it's a town cursed by like the concept of spirals. And yeah, they did have this live action film, which I watched. It wasn't great. It was maybe better than some like kind of anime to movie type adaptations. But it's also, I think, this particular one coming out is going to be interesting because there's been a few attempts at doing like anthology adaptations of some of Junji Ito's work, and they're always, I don't know, to me they never quite work. I don't know if it's because they're in color or the detail of the animation just isn't as detailed as his artwork. But there's just a certain vibe that I feel like they haven't captured yet. This to me looks like the first time they have fully translated. I mean, they've translated that art style verbatim. Like every little detail of it has made its way into this new animation. Which I can see why it took 5 years to make 4 episodes, because I don't know if I've ever seen any comic books art style translated so faithfully like that.
So this is the manga right here. Let me show it. Pretty much, it feels like it's just ripped from the page, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it really does look exactly the way it looks in the book, which I think is really impressive. And I think keeping it black and white in the animation is also a very stark and very noticeable choice. I think you're going to get a lot from that. Um, and I think that it's the first time you'll have that kind of weird, unsettling tone. And Junji Ito's also got a good sense of humor with this horror too, so like it can be goofy, but in an intentional and very kind of fun way as well. So I think you'll also see a lot of that.
Let's see. Uh, let's see. Juju Ito won the first mangaka. He was the first mangaka to win the Best Writer slash Artist Eisner Award. There's that fun fact about him.
Cool.
It says Juju Ito's debut work was based on a traumatic experience from his past. He's collaborated with Hideo Kojima.
He was going to be a part of the creative team for that Silent Hill game that ended up being canceled. It would have been Hideo Kojima, Junji Ito, and Guillermo del Toro.
Juju Ito has stated multiple times he doesn't have a strong interest in video games. Nevertheless, his name is tied to multiple projects in the medium. The Kojima Productions video game Silent Hills has been in development since 2012. Was rumored to have many star creators collaborating on the project, like you mentioned there. Yeah, including Guillermo del Toro, Norman Reedus, and himself.
A little shot there is Junji Ito is one of the people you deliver stuff to in Death Stranding.
Oh, okay. Juju has real life fears. He says he's frightened by many things.
Makes for good horror.
Yeah, some things. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, and he's a cat lover. Hey, you're a cat lover.
Yeah, he's a big cat guy.
Awesome.
There's a lot of memes of him being like the kind of total opposite of Hayao Miyazaki, where Miyazaki, you have someone that is kind of very pessimistic and depressing to listen to him talk about life for real. But then he makes this very beautiful, uplifting art. And then Junji Ito is this very happy, kind of always in a good mood, at least in public kind of personality. And then the art that he creates is like just super, super messed up, like body horror stuff all the time.
Yeah. So Uzumaki coming out September 28th. Definitely gonna be reviewing that. Love the art style of it. Love the look of it. Definitely gonna be get into that.
That's September 28th, 29th, I think. Was that what the date was?
Yep, September 28th. And premiering on Adult Swim there, 12:30 a.m.
And I think it'll be on HBO Max as well when it comes out.
Awesome. All right, so that was San Diego Comic Con stuff there.